listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone. Hope you're having as good a day as we've had. It's been a really unusually nice day for this time of year where we're at.
Absolutely gorgeous day.
I am being closely monitored and supervised.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight.
And tonight I probably need it. It's only been about 16 or 17 hours since I crawled out of bed this morning.
A little slap happy, so yes.
just a little. It's been a long day. If you like what you hear, please feel free to hit those share buttons, like buttons. And I will tell you again, for those who might not have heard this before, if you hit the notifications, it will let you know when we go live for the next few months.
Right. Help bump us up in the algorithms.
Algorithms, yes.
Algorithms.
Still looking at ways to figure out what we're going to do when we can't be live on Spreaker for the podcast. Not sure yet what we're going to do. But here's what you can help with. If you enjoy the live aspect of it, let us know either in the comments or send me a private message or an email, and we'll figure something out. Other than that, it'll just be basically a regular recorded podcast. So hopefully we don't need to do that. What are you listening to? Okay. Now I've lost my train of thought, ran off track. Okay.
I don't know what you were thinking.
Onward and upward. Oh, I know what I was going to mention. I know that when I look at where people are who are listening, the majority, of course, is in the United States because that's where we originate. The next area that we reach where more people listen is actually Europe. And it's kind of surprising in a weird sort of a way. But we appreciate all our European listeners. So
yes, we do.
We are glad that we're reaching you. Still looking for Antarctica. If I get to Antarctica, I can brag about reaching 7 continents. But
anybody out there friends with somebody in Antarctica, have them chime in.
Or if you're like in southern Argentina, because I know we have people in Argentina who listen. It's just like a hop, skip, and a jump down further south of you, right? Just
right.
Go down there and
have somebody listen.
Oh, man. And anyway, of all the continents, Antarctica is the one that I never, penguins are cute. Yeah, they're nice. But I never really had any desire to visit Antarctica for some reason. Australia, Australia is known for kangaroos. But the platypus is probably my favorite. And yes, I'll give you a little secret. I'm a little strange, okay? I have heard, actually I've heard pastors say, when God created a duck-billed platypus, he had all these parts left over. He said, I'll just put them all together. I don't see it that way. I have said before that our Creator has a very British sense of humor. And if you enjoy British comedy, you'll understand where I'm going with this. Can you imagine, as he's creating, he's like, you know what, in a few thousand years, this is going to drive people absolutely nuts. Let's do this. It's kind of like finding a shark's tooth at 8,700 feet above sea level in Colorado. This is just going to drive people absolutely crazy. wondering how it got there because they don't believe the flood anymore. Look what we can do. That is the sense of humor that our Creator has. So, we have to enjoy it.
We do.
If I was writing a Monty Python scene, I would write it just like that. This'll drive them nuts. Anyway, onward and upward. Before I get into Psalm 37 tonight, there's something I need to share with you, simply because you need to be aware of it. And some people may be alarmed to hear this, but don't be, not yet. Because unless things escalate, I don't see anything coming from this. There is an article floating out there. And, the title of this article is, "With Super Woke Pope, Catholics Now Whisper About Another S Word." Now, that should get your attention, right? But the S word they're speaking of is schism, which means to split or divide. This has actually happened a couple of times throughout history already. The East-West schism, where the Roman Catholics separated from the Eastern Orthodox churches in 1054 AD, and of course the Reformation, which led to all the Protestant denominations we know today. So it's already happened a couple of times. The issue today is how the current Pope Francis is leading the Catholic Church into a more progressive direction and leaving behind the more conservative policies of the Church. Now, when we speak about conservative and progressive, conservative and liberal, in this context, we're not talking about politics necessarily. Conservative lean more towards preserving the original, while the progressive attitude is more including of the worldly things. So, which do you think the church should stick with? Should it stick to the original things that are written in the Bible, or should it look more like the world? Chances are, if you're listening to this, you're thinking it's going to stick more to the worldly or to the original, right? The biblical things. But that's where the trouble is, and that honestly is where the trouble will always be. Pope Francis has already demonstrated his more progressive attitude by offering communion to those people in the past who have been refused communion. He's also said, and I can't understand this from him, but it's okay. But he has also said he wants to see more women in leadership in the church, which means female priests. Forgive me, Father, Mother, for I have sinned. Not sure how they're going to fix that one. Anyway, Pope Francis has indicated he's willing to accept homosexual marriage and other things that the more conservative people would consider heresy. Now, only a few years ago, you're still laughing at that. Only a few years ago, the United Methodist Church went through this, and for the same reasons, right? That's why I call it now the Ununited Methodist Church. Well, the Catholic Church is far larger, and this movement to divide, it's going to take a very, very, very long time, if it ever happens at all. From what most indications are, that the church is not going to divide. However, what would most likely happen is the same thing that happened in the United Methodist Church, or the Ununited Methodist Church now. More and more people are simply going to either stop going, stop giving, or find some other place where they think they fit. Now, in my opinion, that's not a bad thing. When a church that you are part of is in conflict with the Bible, the choice you have a choice, right? You can either to stay and fight and try to bring it back in harmony with the Bible, or you step away and say, it's never going to happen. You know, you walk, and you're not walking away from the people, you're walking away from the organization. Think of it that way. If you happen to be in that position where you're like, I really like the people, but I don't like the politics. I don't like the policies. I don't like the doctrine. You're not walking away from the people. You're walking away from the organization. But remember, if you walk away from that organization, you have to live the way your Creator designed you to live. It's that simple. And that actually brings me to what I want to talk about today, which is the beginning of Psalm 37. And we're going to look at the first 10 verses. It's not short by any, well, it's not as long as Psalm 119, but it's not short, you know. If you want to memorize it, feel free. But David offers us a lot of advice that we can actually apply today. If you want to, she's playing with her earpiece. If you want to read the first 10 verses of Psalm 37.
Don't be upset because of evil people. Don't be jealous of those who do wrong. Like the grass, they will soon dry up. Like green plants, they will soon die away. Trust the Lord and do good. Live in the land and enjoy its safety. Enjoy serving the Lord, and He will give you what you want. Depend on the Lord. Trust Him, and He will take care of you. Then your goodness will shine like the sun. Your fairness will shine like the noonday sun. Wait and trust the Lord. Don't be upset when others get rich or when someone else plans succeed. Don't get angry. Don't be upset. It only leads to trouble. Evil people will be sent away, but people who trust the Lord will inherit the land. In a little while there will be no more wicked people. You may look for them, but they will be gone. Psalms chapter 37, verses 1 through 10.
I said David gives us a lot of good things we can apply today, right? And he starts by reminding us not to get angry or jealous when we see evil. And he puts it very bluntly, right? Now, she read from the International Children's Version, which kind of tones it down a little bit. But he's very, very blunt here. He says, evil people are going to die. That's about as blunt as you can get. Bad people are going to die. Well, everybody's going to leave this earth at some point. But David's very specific. He says, no. Evil people will die. And he's talking about the second death that we read about in Revelation. And, don't get angry. Don't get jealous. It's the same advice that we receive, or we should receive, when we're being trained how to fight. Doesn't matter whether you're a warrior. It doesn't matter whether you're in competition. You don't get angry. You don't get jealous. Because when we get angry or jealous or upset, we don't think the way that we should think. Anger and jealousy interfere with our reaction, and they interfere with our reasoning. And don't be fooled here. We are in a battle. We battle the evil that we see in others. We battle the evil that is in ourselves. Somebody just fainted. I heard him hit the floor. I don't have any evil in me. Yes, you do. Sorry to say that, but yes, you do. How often have you ever heard the question? Maybe you've asked the question, Why does God allow such evil in the world? If he loves the world, why does he let bad things happen to good people? We're asking the wrong question. Remember, if you want the real answer, you sometimes have to change the question. What we should be asking is, why do some people simply choose to do evil? The answer is, the evil is in them. They just choose to respond to it. Our Creator gives us a tremendous amount of freedom to do all the good that we are able to do to benefit the people around us. All of his instructions are actually designed to prevent us from harming each other. Those who choose to do evil things quite simply have rejected the Creator, and they're given the freedom to do that. But when we get angry about their sin and their evil, we lose focus on how we should live. Now, does that mean we just allow them to continue in their evil way and attempt to destroy mankind? No, of course not. We instead should focus more on our Creator, follow his guidance, his instruction, depending on the situation. We protect innocent life. That's what we're here for, and we allow evil to destroy itself. And what that's going to look like is going to be different in each and every situation you find yourself in. Sometimes you have to face it head on immediately. Sometimes you have to let it run its course a little bit before you guide it into its own destruction. There's an old saying, you give somebody enough rope, they will hang themselves. And it's pretty much true. You let somebody go long enough, they will destroy themselves. When we begin to feel angry, when we begin to feel jealous, that's time to, and I've said this before, you've got to stop, think, you've got to gain control. You've got to focus. The way we regain our focus as believers is to pray and follow the Creator's instructions. We had a t-shirt that said, pray, obey, repeat. You ask for guidance, you do what the Almighty says, and then you start all over again. That is how you stop, think, and gain control. When you feel yourself, when you see things, and I see it all the time, I was watching some news a while ago, and it's like, how can people be like this? Not my exact words at the time. But think about that. With everything we see going on in the world today, it's easy to get upset. A lot of Americans are going to be upset later this evening because of the State of the Union address. Stop, think, get control, and focus. What you do next, hopefully, is through prayer and obedience. There's my political message for the evening. Okay. David writes to trust. Now, we spoke about that in the last episode, right? When we trust our Creator completely, we're going to do good and not evil. He says, enjoy serving the Creator. My, how times have changed, right? We've moved from a time when serving him meant treating each other with respect and love, and now we think of serving our Creator as work. Did you realize that? Does serving your do you think that serving your Creator means that we should all be cooking for the hungry? We should all be visiting the homeless, handing out little baggies with soap and toothbrushes and toothpaste in them. Is that what we have reduced serving our Creator to? It is for some people. I've seen them do it. Serving our Creator should be enjoyable. It is a form of worship. And you remember now, the first form of this is when Adam was put in the garden to tend it and to look after it. But today we have reduced service to nothing more than, I'll just help clean the church building. What you should be doing is helping to clean the church people, keeping the people clean. Ooh, what a concept. You mean serving is enjoyable? Yes, that's what it is all about. If you reduce serving your Creator to nothing more than physical labor, and if that physical labor is dreadful or tedious, those things need to be done, yes, but that's not the type of serving that David's writing about. David actually writes, delight in Jehovah, to take pleasure in the softness, in the grace of our Creator. And the next part of that verse does not mean that he's going to give you everything you want. When we are in unity with our Creator, our heart will desire what he wants for us. So the things that we would want will be the things he wants us to have. It doesn't mean that we're all going to be healthy billionaires. It means that we will choose the things the Creator wants for us. Not everybody can not everybody can have $1 billion in the bank. It just doesn't work that way. Not everybody can be poor either. Although the poor will always be around. There will always be someone that you can help, either financially, physically, or emotionally, or spiritually. Now, I have said that when we live the way we're designed to live, people will notice that we are different. And David writes that we're going to shine brightly. We're supposed to be noticed. We're supposed to look different. Not in the way we dress, in the way we act, in the way we carry ourselves, in the way we speak. And I don't mean using fancy biblical words that we don't understand, but speaking with compassion, kindness, thoughtfulness, even when we're chastising someone. It can be done. And then he gets to the one I don't like. Wait and trust. And, good advice is sometimes the most difficult to apply, right? Patience. The saying is, if you pray for patience, you're going to get the lesson about patience, because it seems like an eternity to receive it, right? Don't pray for patience, because you'll get it. It can be hard to wait to receive the things he wants us to have. We've lived through it. We actually have firsthand knowledge of what it means to wait. We have firsthand knowledge of how his ideas for us are better than what we have for ourselves. Just because we see others receiving their blessings before we do, doesn't mean we're less loved. We might not realize it, we might not know it, but somebody who receives their blessing before you may have been waiting a lot longer than you. Right? We know what it's like to wait for what seems like an eternity. But what we received was far better than what we anticipated. One thing we have learned is when his time is right, when the Creator's time is right, everything happens very, very easily without complication. But if we try to rush it or make something happen that he doesn't want, everything gets convoluted, everything goes wrong, everything just kind of winds up in a mess. Your blessings will come to you if you're willing to wait and trust. Anger does lead to trouble. When we lose focus, we lose reason, we don't think clearly. When we see evil people, remember, if they choose not to repent, they're going to be sent away, never to be mentioned again. David's not saying here that it's our job to drag them kicking and screaming into the kingdom. He's flat out saying, straightforward, they will be sent away. And you don't want to go where they're going. Our job is to be the example, the shining light. And we don't do that by preaching at them, by talking their ear off. We do it by living the way we're designed to live. I think David likes to be straightforward in verse 10. And I like the way the International Children's Bible translates it. In a little while, there will be no more wicked people. You might look for them, but they will be gone. In a little while. Just wait and trust. All the wicked people will be gone. One day all the evil people, the ones who reject the Creator, they will be sent away, never to be mentioned again. You might consider them from time to time, but they're not going to be found. Never to be spoken of again. Never to be mentioned again. Some translations translate that verse out of Isaiah as not to be remembered, but it's actually not to be mentioned. We will never speak of these things again. Now, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that day. But Amos 5:18 reminds us, woe to you who long for the day of Jehovah. What will the day of Jehovah be for you? It will be darkness and not light. Don't rush it. We need to wait and trust. It will come in his time, not ours. After all, it is his universe, and we have to follow his rules. And that means we have to wait for his timing to be right. There's simply some things we can't change, and that's one of them. When he chooses, his time will be perfect. And until then, we wait, we trust. Because one day, all the evil, all the wicked will be gone. You see, the first 10 verses tell us how to apply these things to ourselves. Just wait. Just keep doing all the good you can do. Just keep being who you are. Repent when you need to. Because one day, all the evil will be gone. Next time, we will pick up where we left off and see how far we get. I don't know yet. So So till Monday,
Till Monday.
we wish you many, many blessings, everyone.